So this is the video for chapter 23. And in chapter 23, a lot of students had a hard time with this right here. That is, okay, so it just shows the blocks. And it's kind of the building blocks that a lot of Math UC curriculums have with them. And this square one is 100. So it's 10 on this side, 10 blocks for the width, 10 blocks for the length, and 10 times 10 is the 100. And then this is half of that. Okay, so since it's half of that, that would be 5 and 10. And then this one is 5 and 1. This is 10 and 1. So the way that they come up with the factors is that they do, this is 10 plus 1 is 11. And then they do 10 plus 5 is the 15. So that's how they get those two numbers. You just do how many numbers, how many blocks are there for the width portion, and you count every single one of them, and then how many are there for the length version. So length times width, and that's how they get those numbers. So that's how you would do all of those. So for example, this one's the same thing. So this is 10, okay, and then that's 11. So that's the first one, and then you can do 10 here, and this is wrong. As I said before, this is not my workbook, so whoever did it before was wrong. This is 10 plus 1 is 11, so that would be an 11. Okay. That's how we do those. These right here have already been done for us, but I am going to do number 34 right here that says 32 times 11. Okay. And we are taking a break from this portion right here because the students are really having a hard time with just multiplying, and that's what they really need the most. So we are not going to do this part right here for now. We're just going to focus on the 32 times 11. And the way that that looks is like this. Okay, so you would do 1. We always start with the numbers furthest away from the multiplication sign. So because of that, it wouldn't be this number because that one's closer. It would be this number. And we always start with the bottom numbers because the bottom numbers are the ones that need to be multiplied by every single digit on top. So first we start with the 1. These are both furthest away from the multiplication sign. So it's 1 times 2 is 2. And then we multiplied this number, this 1 on the bottom, by the first digit on top. We still have to do it by the other digit on top. So 1 times 3 is 3. Okay, we can cross that off to show we're done with it. We can put a 0 here for our placer to hold our place value. And then we go over here to our next bottom number. And we're doing 1 times 2 because we have to multiply it by every single digit on the top. And we always start with the number furthest away from the multiplication sign. So 1 times 2 is 2. And remember, the reason the 0 is here is to make sure we don't do 1 times 2 and put the 2 here. Okay, so remember, you always put the number wherever the next empty spot is. So 1 times 2 is 2. It goes right here. 1 times 3 is 3. Now we have these, and we add them. Okay, and it's 2 plus 0. Don't get confused. Once you get here, we're adding. Okay, we already did the multiplication steps. Now we're adding pretty much how much this would be if we just did 1 times 32. It's 32. And then if we did 10 times 32, we would get 320. So this is 2 plus 0 is 2. 3 plus 2 is 5. And then we bring down our 3. And we have 352. Okay, so that's how you do that one. Move on to the next problem. Okay, and we come over here, and there is 22 times 10. 22 times 10. Okay, and this one, you could, anytime that you're multiplying by 0, then your whole row is going to be 0 at the top. So you could just put your 0 as a placeholder. And you could do 1 times 2 equals 2, and 1 times 2 equals 2, and you would get your answer. Or, if you don't like that because you like to do your steps so you don't get confused, then you could do 22 times 10, And then you can do 0 times 2 is 2. Sorry, that's not correct. 0 times 2 is 0. 0 times 2 is 0. And then we put our placeholder, we already did that 0, put our placeholder 0 here. Then we do 1 times 2 is 2. 1 times 2 is 2. And then you still get the same answer. It's just that this whole row is 0 because the bottom number is 0. So everything you multiply by the top is just going to be 0. So this is 0 plus 0 is 0. 0 plus 2 is 2. And 2 plus, and we just bring down the 2. So we get 220. Okay. So that's how we do that one. Okay. Over here, I'll go ahead and do 21 times 14. Trying to see, I don't know if this one's going to give me, no, it's not. Okay, so I want to do one that has some carrying because that's where I think a lot of kids are getting confused, but we'll get to that. Okay, so this one is 4 times 1 equals 4. And again, we start with the bottom number that's the furthest away from the multiplication sign. And the bottom number gets multiplied by both numbers on top, starting with the number furthest away from the multiplication sign. 4 times 1 is 4. 4 times 2 is 8. Okay, we did the 4. We're done with it. Cross it off, put our placeholder 0. Okay, because we're done doing this for the ones place. So now we're moving on to the tens place. So we have that placeholder so that we can put our numbers where they belong because this is the tens place and we're multiplying all of this by 110. Okay, so 1 times 1 is 1. And we start with 1 times 1 because this number is furthest away from the multiplication sign. And then we do 1 times 2 and that's 2. Okay, now we did that. We did 1 times 1, that gave us 1. We did 1 times 2, that gave us 2. So now both of the bottom numbers have been multiplied by every single number on top. So now we can finally add. And this is 4 plus 0 is 4. And then we have 8 plus 1 is 9. And we bring down the 2. So 294. Okay, let's look for a little bit of a juicier one. These are kind of, I want to see if there's anything in this chapter that kind of gives us some carrying. Okay. Okay, I'm going to, let's do a word problem first before we move on too far. Okay, so it says, how many months are in 20 years? Okay, 20 years, 20 is our first number. Jot that down. If you do not already know that there are 12 months in a year, this is a good time to memorize that fact. Okay, so yes, there's 12 months in a year. So 20, how many months are in 20 years? We know that each one of those years is going to have 12. So it's groups. So 20 times 12 is what our problem would be. And we would do 2 times 0 is 0. 2 times 2 is 4. Put our placeholder here. We can cross this guy out. 1 times 0 is 0. 1 times 2 is 2. Add that. 0 plus 0 is 0. 4 plus 0 is 4. And 2, we just bring it down. And that is the answer for that. Okay. Okay. Let's move on to 23C. No, not that one. Okay. Okay, we'll do this one. So we'll do number 14, and that's on page 322 for 23D. So 28 times 6. Okay, so the way we do this one is the same way. You have a 6 at the bottom. Okay, you multiply the 6 by every single number on top, starting with the numbers furthest from the multiplication sign. So 6 times 8 is 48. So what I like to do is I like to start with the bottom number so that, because that helps you. If you say 6 times 8 instead of 8 times 6, then you don't get confused as to which number is being multiplied by every single number on top. So I like students to say 6 times 8, 6 times 2. Okay, and then when you write whatever that answer is. So if you have 6 times 8 and that's 48, instead of putting the 8 first, I like students to put the 4 here and then the 8 there, because that helps them write it correctly. When they put the number here first, I've seen a lot of students just put 84 instead, because they think 40 first, so they put the 4 down first. So just get in the habit of doing this, 48, and that will help you with that mistake. Okay, now we did 6 times 8, that's 48, and then now we're going to do 6 times 2, and that's 12, but we still have that 4 here. Okay, we have to add that 4 to it. So 12 plus 4 is 16. Okay, and once you add that, especially if there's another digit here that you have to multiply, you cross it out so that you know that you've already added this 4. You can't add it again to a different number. So then the answer for that is 168. Okay. Okay. We'll do number 15. I had a question on this one from a student, minus 95, okay? And this is on page 324. So it says 116 minus 95. So here was the question. Can we do 6 minus 5? Yes, that's 1. Now here, he asks, can I just do 11 minus 9? And yes, you can. You can definitely just do 11 minus 9 here, okay? Because if you do 116 minus 95, okay, and you do 6 minus 5 is 1, and then you say 1 minus 9, oh, there's not enough, let me take 1 away. So the reason is that there's only 1 here. So you're going to put 1 right in front of it, and it's going to create the same exact 11 you already had next to it. So whenever the number that you're going to take away is the last digit and it's a 1, that you can just subtract straight from it. So this is still going to be 21. It's just a step that was almost unnecessary. But if you like to do your steps and make sure you don't get confused, then just keep doing your steps. You don't have to do this way. You can keep doing this, and that's totally fine too. Okay. Okay. Okay, I will do these round to the nearest thousand. This is on page 325. And it says round to the nearest thousand. And there's actually, move the camera a little bit. There's 6,843. 6,843. And again, when we're rounding, it says round to the nearest thousand. So we locate what the nearest thousand is. And that's, here's the thousands place. And then we look next door and we say, is this 5 or more? And if the answer is yes, then this number goes up. Okay? So this is definitely 5 or more. It's 8, so it's more than 5. So the 6 will go up, and this will end up being, when it's rounded, 7,000. Okay? Remember, when you round, this number changes. If it goes up, if it's 5 or more, it goes up, and then all the numbers behind it just turn into zeros. If, let's say, if this was not 6,843, it was 6,443, then it would say, if it's less than 5, then it has to go down. Or not go down, kind of go down, because these all turn into zeros, but it just stays the same. So the 6 stays the same, okay? And then everything behind it turns into 0. So it does go smaller, but the thousand itself stays the same. The value of the thousands place stays the same. Okay. Okay. Let's see. Okay. I'm going to do a few more of these, okay? Let's see. I'll do number 3, 26 times 11. Okay, and again, the same way we do this is the same way we've been doing all the others. You always multiply the bottom numbers times every number on top. Okay, so if you, and you always multiply the numbers farthest away from the multiplication sign first. So this one's right here, so I'm not going to do this, okay? I'm not there yet. I haven't done this one. This one's farther away. So I'll do 1 times 6. That's 6. Okay, I did that. Now it's 1 times 2. That's 2. Okay, now I already multiplied this one by every single number on top, so I can cross it off. I can put my 0 to hold my place, and then I can come here and do the next number down, and that's a 1 as well, so I'll do 1 times 6, and that's a 6. 1 times 2, that's a 2, and now I can add everything. 6 plus 0 is 6. 2 plus 6 is 8, and bring down the 2. Okay. Okay, I think everything else that we have here is pretty much review except just the 2 double-digit multiplication. And we've been doing harder ones in class where we actually have some carrying over. And it looks like here we will have the carrying over in the next chapter, so that's going to be good. Practice these, but for now just finish chapter 23 for homework for Monday. Okay, and if you guys have any questions, then just message me on Slack. Thank you.